Words about books, Ben.
Words about books, Nate.
Are you ready for one more trip into the Bobiverse?
I guess. You may be hitting this at an opportune time, though.
Oh.
Yeah, because with the explosion of that there dungeon crawler Carl, I hear that this is also getting recommended along those same lines.
Huh. Interesting.
Yeah,
Okay.
the something about the, I don't know, power fantasy of it all. I don't think Dungeon Crawler Carl is like a civilization builder like Bobiverse is, but it's in that same line of like, what if video games were books?
Pretty impressive. All right.
So there you
So
go.
what do you remember about Bob, Ben?
Okay, Bobiverse. Did not take notes on this one. Do not have miracle notes to help me out. So there was war or something on Earth. We destroyed Earth, and a bunch of nations, I think like 3 superpowers, all managed to like
And
digitize,
Australia. Yeah.
and Australia all managed to digitize people and put their brains in spaceships or something. And Bob is one such person. Bob was a guy who didn't have terribly much going on in his life, but I guess he's very good at planning, very good at civilization builder games. So they put Bob
Yeah.
in the ship. Bob finds him a new planet, transports him there. But Bob also starts cloning himself. He creates an entire like race of Bobs. Each one is a ship, and they all go off and they all do their own little sci-fi civilization buildy stuff. And it's just a series of vignettes about the different Bobs doing stuff. They also have to fight some like alien race that is
Yeah.
wiping
At the
civilizations out.
very end, there was of the first book, an alien race is brought up, and then at the very end of the second, they fight and lose.
Yeah. And so I know at one point one of the Bobs tried to romance a lady and put himself in a humanoid body, and then she died or something. And he wanted to digitize her, but she said she'd rather be dead than with him, and that didn't happen.
It's actually not quite what happened. You might be conflating two of the Bob storylines.
I don't know
Because
how I could do that.
a lady does die, but that is his bro's wife, and she's an alien, and he's also an alien, and he's pretending, and Bob is pretending to be an alien.
Yeah, so yeah, that's kind of what we're doing here. There's just a bunch of Bobs. They're named after cartoons and stuff.
Yeah, do you remember the valiant Homer Bob who self-terminated and wrote a suicide note?
That's what I'd do if I were a Bob. I'm worried about Dungeon Crawler Carl, Nate. I'm worried because it's such a big hit. It's like I was reasonably certain I was going to like A Court of Thorns and Roses because I'm into that like shoujo, Sailor Moon, romance
Twilight.
crap.
Yeah.
I don't think I'm gonna like Dungeon Crawler Carl. I don't think I'm gonna like it. I think we're gonna get yelled at. So, but we're not talking. That's a battle for another day.
All right. I'm probably gonna put my notes, I don't know, on Patreon. I went through, I cataloged this shit, Ben. Book 1, 2, and 3 for each of these plot lines, Ben.
You have Nate's Spark Notes.
Yes. Here you go, Ben.
Oh boy.
Once again, you gotta choose where we're gonna start.
Okay, my choices are New Colony plotline.
Let me first clarify for people. I don't know. This obviously isn't going to be your first Bobiverse episode, but every single chapter is like a few pages long. There's like a million chapters, each one from a different perspective, and it just goes back and forth. And so what I have to do is I have to kind of like put them into plot lines. So
that kind of fits with the whole model of this new serialized literature. Like Beware of Chickens, kind of like that. Not quite that bad. There's not a million chapters, but it is like you get a little bit of this line, you get a little bit of this line, because he's got to think of it as he's writing it. So like, um, yeah, I think that's what's going on. It would be nice if he'd organize them into plot lines for you, but if you put that kind of effort into editing, you're not going to have time to write more.
Exactly.
And then your patrons are going to get mad. And, you're going to have to get a job. So,
All right.
okay. So here are my choices. I'm going to read
Yeah.
them.
Okay.
Stop adding to it. There's already too many. So, new colony plotline. Howard, the Love Bob. Delta Sky God Bob. Or Delton Sky God Bob. Soul Bob dash Riker. Poseidon Bob dash Marcus. Terraforming Bob dash Bill. Battle Against the Others prologue. The Pav with Phineas and Ferb. I feel like the guy who wrote Bob's a little too old for Phineas and Ferb, but
You think so, but
okay, maybe he's got a kid.
I've never even seen Phineas and Ferb, Ben.
I've seen it, but that's because of my
I've
sister.
seen the characters themselves. I've never seen an episode.
Literally everything any Disney Channel I've ever watched was because of my sister. I didn't have Disney Channel when I was growing up. I only had Nick and Cartoon Network, and I hate all the Disney Channel shows, but I watched them. Phineas and Ferb is one of the better ones.
Okay.
They got Perry the Platypus, Dr. Doofenshmirtz.
Oh, that's where that's from. Okay.
Yeah, no, Phineas and Ferb is an okay cartoon. I give it the pass. But Wizards of Waverly Place sucks. Hannah Montana sucks. Who else? Who can I make mad today? I'm starting fights. I'm in a mood. Anyway, I think I'm going to go with Howard the Love Bob.
Howard the Love Bob. Everyone's favorite, Ben. All right. So when we last left Howard the Love Bob,
I wasn't aware he was a continuing character.
oh, he was a continuing character, Ben. He was the one who fell in love with the woman, Ben.
Oh, how's that going?
Well, he's got an android body as of the end of the last book.
Okay.
And his friend and also her husband is dead.
Nice.
And so like you can just kind of like slide into her DMs.
So you're telling me there's a chance?
Yeah, and then he's like, "Hey, when you die, how about we scan your brain?" And she's like, "No thanks, I'm good."
Yeah, so I remembered that right.
Yeah, she does not want to get her brain scanned, but Colonel or General, I wrote General, but I think he's a Colonel. Colonel Butterworth is like, and that's his name, is like, yeah, when I die, we can go ahead and scan my brain in, and then you can use me to fight your military battles.
It's a bold of you, Colonel Butterworth, to assume I care.
No, he asked the Colonel.
Oh, okay.
He's like, hey, I need a military man to fight my battles. And he's like, I'm game. So, last time, we also discussed some really intelligent raptors. Like they got inside the compound and then they were like hiding in a storage shed and they were finally chased out on one of the colonies that Howard was overseeing. We never hear about them again and we never talk about them and they're not important to this book.
Okay.
So instead, we're gonna focus on Howard and Brigitte, or maybe it's Bridget. I think it was just Bridget. I wrote it interchangeably. I don't care. How they're falling in love, Ben, and they occasionally make jokes about whether or not that android body comes equipped to do everything. Eh?
Obviously it does. Why else would I build it?
and a lot of people ask him that. Does that thing have a donger?
Yes.
Oh, it is Bridget. Okay.
It is.
Yeah.
It is something like how look. We see it a lot in our modern political discourse. Is I need the answer to that question before I know how to relate to you.
All right. So now that I got my notes updated with her proper name, which is Bridget, I know you cared, Ben. We're doing this for accuracy. All right. Bridget had 3 kids, Ben. And the oldest one, Rosie, not into the fact their mom is dating an android.
Oh, they're dating?
They're dating now.
Oh.
I didn't know that either until they started talking about how they were dating. I was like, wait, I thought that we had come to the conclusion that no, I'm not going to date you.
Yeah, it seemed like it ended on a pretty
Yeah, I don't
I'd
want you to
rather,
scan my brain.
yeah.
I would rather just die normally.
Yeah.
So,
To be fair though, I think I've had this conversation before. Bob is dead.
yeah.
Like Bob Prime is a copy of Bob. So
I
her
think
her
the
being
most
scanned really only benefits him because she will die.
yeah.
So I could see why she's like, no, I'm
And
not
it's
here
also
to.
you wait until the end of your life, so I hope you didn't have like Alzheimer's or some sort of
Well,
neurodegenerative
you know, Bob's
disease.
going to scan a little, like, he's probably already scanned her. But yeah, it's like, or do they have to destroy the brain to scan it?
I don't know because I know original Bob was destroyed, but I
Yeah.
think maybe the maybe it's changed. I don't know because spoiler, they will scan her, but she's dead by the time they do that.
But see, that's the thing. She's still dead. They're just resurrecting her as like a romantic homunculus for Bob. This is purely selfish.
Well, Ben, we'll get into it.
Okay.
But yes, I think that Bob Prime is actually the third generation of clone, if I remember correctly, because the first 2 robots, I believe, died. So
Okay.
he's a clone of a clone of a clone of Bob. And now he's hanging out, pretending to be an alien, hunting on an alien planet. But we're not talking about him. We're talking about Howard the Love Bob.
Yeah.
And they just went out to a movie because movies are being reintroduced. Old movies, Ben. So you know that it's probably irritating because
Michael
he
Bay's
probably already knows them
Transformers.
all. It's probably, oh, I was going to say like Monty Python and Rocky Horror Picture Show and all that bullshit.
Rocky Horror Picture Show holds up.
I'm sure they all hold up if people didn't fucking talk during the movie and ruin your experience by knowing every single line and reciting it in real time.
You know,
Monty
there.
Python was funny until people just kept using it over and over again.
I'll
It's
give you
only a
that.
model, Ben.
No, I'll
Are
give you
you
that
laughing?
with Monty
Is it funny
Python.
yet?
There's an etiquette to watching Rocky Horror, though.
Oh, there is?
Yeah, there's like rules for what you do at like a midnight screening of Rocky Horror.
Okay. I'll take your word for it.
You will get wet.
Yeah, I mean, I was planning on it. Oh, yeah. Oh, like there's like water or something. And
There's going to be water, yeah.
okay. All right. Anyway, Bob also gets a message. Like, he looks down at his phone or I guess his computer interface, and it's from Colonel Butterworth. Actually, Bob, turns out I have a neurological disease, so I'd rather not be cloned in that condition. By the time you've read this, I've already taken a neurotoxin and I'm dead. So he's gone, Ben.
Okay.
This is the first of many of one of the Bobs grappling with the fact that he is an immortal being and everyone around him is in fact not immortal. Rule of threes, Ben. There will be 2 other Bobs in this book who have this exact same
Okay.
realization.
I'm so they can't like fix that in post. They can't get it scanned and then
No.
edit it out.
No. They'll scan it and he'll have whole chunks of memory and shit missing because the brain has been destroyed.
You know, they can't just fill them in.
Nope.
I don't need all of his memories. I just need
Nope, he needs to be able to perfectly remember his childhood as much as he possibly can. Or else what's the point of even living, Ben?
to fight my war.
To fight my war. Nope, you're gonna have to fight your war all on your own, Ben.
I had a very clear
it
purpose
is
for
it
your
is
living.
it is
Yeah.
strange that the colonel isn't like, all right, you can scan me, but once the war is over, we're turning me off.
Well, but
But
here's the
this is Bob has to win that war on his own, Ben,
I return
because he's the
to.
main character.
I return to. Doesn't matter to him. I mean, you're really doing that out of compassion for your clone. You're not going to live in that state.
Well, that's true.
And there's nothing stopping Bob from, even after you take the neurotoxin, just going and chopping up your brain and scanning it in and creating something that suffers eternally anyway. Bob is
He doesn't do that, but he
yeah,
could.
he could.
So the major conflict of this story is going to be: should a robot and a human be allowed to Ben?
I feel like that ship has long since sailed.
So he gets into an argument with Rosie about how, like, your mom wants this. She's the one who initiated the relationship.
Don't get into that argument with somebody's child.
Yeah, nope, he does. And does it in public. And
Okay.
and a little later, he's going to a black tie event with her, and he hates ties. That's a little. I hate wearing a tie. You're an android, but whatever. And then he calls himself a full body amputation over dinner, and then someone asks about if he has a donger.
Yeah.
And after seeing that Bob is basically just a nonstop butler to humans, even though we have found the technology to scan people's brains after they die and make them replicants, no one wants that. No one has opted to do that. They're all kind of good.
I find it hard to believe that nobody would do that.
I also find it hard to believe no one would do that, but that's what we're going with so that he doesn't have to write a bunch of random NPC characters.
Yeah, no, Bob is definitely full of personality and moral complication here. So I can understand how adding a second character would be challenging.
Yeah, they already have an Australian guy, and he shows up for like one chapter in this book, and that was too much, Ben. Too much. Why is he here? He also didn't want to replicate himself, even though that was his purpose. Again, I have to point out that there is no way Australia is ever going to be a superpower. That's just not happening.
Not unless you can terraform the outback.
Yeah, you'd have to do that first before you could do anything else. They're struggling just to get enough water.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, it's really the least of my problems with the Bobiverse. But
So,
so this
that
this robot rights thing, they did this in Futurama, right? I guess that's been my whole thing with Bob all along. Is it sounds like Futurama
yeah,
without
maybe.
the other characters.
It sounds like a video game sandbox to me.
Yeah,
And he's watched a lot of like sci-fi cartoons, like Futurama.
and Phineas and Ferb.
Yeah, I guess. So much later on, Ben, because everyone's story is like intermingled throughout. Later on, one of the Bobs discovers like an ecosystem inside of a gas giant, and they send that over on the BobNet, as they call it. And he sees these like giant jellyfish creatures in this gas giant. By the way, they call it Odin. We'll get to that. And he shows it to Bridget in an attempt to get her interested in studying biology of life on that gas giant as an android. Like, you can study all the life in the galaxy with all that unlimited time you can have. Not you, but like the clone of you that we could make. He doesn't
There's
outright say it, but he is like, this is me trying to convince her to do that.
there's something really creepy about that. That's like a horror movie.
You're a full body amputation, Ben.
Well, okay, that's Ghost in the Shell. She's a full body cyborg. She's a full prosthetic body. They call them prosthetic bodies in
Yeah.
Ghost in the Shell. But no, there's something there's like a horror movie there about like an android like continuously trying to convince you to like turn yourself into an android, and then one day you wake up and you're a brain in a jar because
Yeah,
it decided to stop
but
waiting.
picture this. But picture this. That android also has a dick.
It does make me trust him more. I feel more comfortable with him knowing that.
You're in the woods, and there's a bear. What's scarier, a bear or an android with a big old donger?
Yeah, you've made me. I think you've found a way to make men understand the bear in the woods scenario. There, if I'm in the woods and there's a bear and an android with a big donger, I choose the bear. But I have to go back to it matters. It matters a lot if they have to destroy the brain to create the scan. Because if you could just like scan somebody, do that Ernest Klein thing, just scan every user without their consent.
Without their consent or knowledge.
Come on, Spielberg, make
So
Ready Player 2.
at least the author tries to convey that would be wrong.
Yeah,
So I give him props for not doing the Ernest Klein thing.
I'm gonna say trying to coerce somebody into something they clearly don't want to do is also
Well,
not
Ben,
not ideal.
much later, and I don't know how long. There are dates on this, but I listened to the audiobook, so I don't know how much longer. But she dies. She passed away of. I'm guessing it's probably a few decades later at this point. And turns out before she died, she changed her will, Ben. She wants to have her brain scanned after all. And she also left a huge chunk of her money for a legal defense fund because she also anticipates her daughter is not going to go for that and is going to try to fight it.
I feel like Bob changed her will.
Well, he didn't, Ben.
I don't believe him.
Well, according to the book, he did not change her will.
What does the daughter think?
The daughter thinks that yeah, he either changed the will or he coerced her into changing her will.
Yeah, me too. I agree.
So she's going to take him to court, Ben. It's a legal drama now. She files an injunction to block her mom's brain being scanned. And as the story is progressing, he's like in the hospital. Bridget's in a stasis pod. And the hospital director is like, well, Rosie doesn't seem like the type who's going to lose with grace and dignity.
Nor does Bob.
And it's likely that you're going to win, but like, what's she going to do? I don't think she's going to allow it, even if you win legally, Bob. And Bob is like, sometimes the foreshadowing is obvious. So his lawyer is like, the will is pretty clear. You're gonna win this. Super easy, barely an inconvenience. But we are gonna have to write several chapters of like, maybe you will, maybe you won't, until finally maybe he does. And he's the after a long time of waiting, it wasn't nearly as fast as how I'm describing it. They're in court. The judge is about to read out their decision, and he's looking over at Rosie. She doesn't look like someone who's about to lose, Ben. So Howard goes ahead and sends a text to one of the other Bobs, whose name is Bill.
Okay.
Because he's like, something's up. And so when the judge is like, yeah, well, after reviewing all the facts and hearing all the arguments, gotta let her brain get scanned. That's when Rosie texts something on her phone. And after the Courtroom is adjourned. As you do, they meet up in the hall, and Rosie's like, "I know you think you won, but you'll never scan her brain." And then he's like, "Why? Because you sabotaged her stasis pod? Well, guess what? I already had Bill scan her brain the very second the judge granted our victory, before the stasis pod mysteriously was destroyed by a text that you sent to it. Checkmate." And so then he's like, "I'm sure
You're
there's going to be."
you're a real piece of shit, Bob.
Yeah, and then he's like, "I'm sure there's going to be a criminal investigation because what you did was a crime." That never happens, I don't think, because she's just walking free. But he is like, I knew both your parents, and I love both of them, and I can't believe you came out of either of them. So he gives her this sick burn before he goes to fuck her mom.
I'm
He really should have ended with that too. And now, if you'll excuse me, I'm gonna go fuck your mom.
and he, in all his godlike wisdom, doesn't understand how a child who watched her mom spend her entire life, decades and decades, saying she didn't want this, and all of a sudden at the very end there's a secret will or secret change to her will that says, oh, actually that thing my coercive android deity husband wanted, I actually want that too. He doesn't see how maybe she could.
No, because Bob is a nice guy, Ben.
Is
Except for
the
when he just said those really mean things to her.
is the author aware of this, or was that like a victory lap?
I think that was a victory lap. I think that one was definitely a victory lap. I think the author is coming across like this is a legitimate thing that she changed her mind on, because she did see those jellyfish and she did want to go and explore and do all the biologying and study all these species, and she knew she couldn't do that in her frail old woman body that was gradually deteriorating.
Okay.
So I think that was a victory lap of like,
And
you're
insulting
just wrong.
the daughter was nice. Like, okay,
Yes.
so
Not
I could.
all, yes, because she was obviously in the wrong completely 100%, Ben. There's not two sides on this. Bridget wanted to have her brain cloned at the very end and didn't tell anyone. And you should have respected that wish.
Okay.
That's on you.
Okay.
Why
No,
don't
I
you
mean
trust
this
me?
is
I knew both of your parents, by the way. I was friends. I hooked both of them up. You wouldn't exist without me. I'm just throwing that one out there. So why can't I fuck your mom?
I've been trying to give the Bobiverse the benefit of the doubt because it's
I
such
did
an
not want to read any of Howard's
so
chapters.
it's the Bobiverse, the whole like what if books were video games thing. All of these genres extremely not my thing. I like with John Bierce and the progressive fantasy stuff, and like even Brandon Sanderson's progressive fantasy stuff. Like I still not my thing, but I could kind of get on board. There's a it's similar enough to what I like that I can kind of get in there. The lit RPG and this like sandbox builder thing. Um, I guess I like it in Beware of Chicken, but maybe it's just I like the characters more. Bob sounded problematic from the get go, and he did, to his credit, for two books. He managed to dodge the controversy, I think. But I think we're finding it now. And I know what my next pick is going to be because I'm very curious about this.
So, Bridget wakes up as her 28-year-old self in a VR environment. Right?
Of course she does.
And Bob teaches her about
what
being a replicant.
What does Bob look like? What age is he?
He's also like 30, I think, somewhere in there.
Well, those aren't the same ages, but okay.
Well, earlier someone made a comment like because his android was really young and she was like 50, so like, oh, look at that cougar dating that really young man. So he purposefully then altered his android to look much older so she wouldn't have to feel weird.
What a gentleman.
Yeah. So he should be allowed to fuck her, Ben.
Not only should it be allowed, he should gloat.
Yes, he needs to rub it in her daughter's face.
Her grieving children.
I know your mom is dead and all, but I'd like to resurrect her as a digital zombie.
Doesn't even try to like slow pitch it as like you could have your mom back.
He barely talks to her children at all.
That's healthy. Because he was friends with both of their parents. That's the kind of relationship you have with. Okay.
Yeah, he tries to write it as like Howie, the middle child, like looked up to Bob back in the day, and it's like, okay, yeah, but he was like 2 or 3, and then he left for a while because he couldn't bear to be around both of them in a relationship. So
you couldn't have been great friends with the dad if you're willing to. Ew, Bob's gross. Okay.
I left them our illegal whiskey distillery, and they're filthy rich because of what we did together, Ben. So I should be allowed to fuck his wife.
That sounds like that sounds like sounds like a folk song, like a folk rock song right there. That's yeah, Howard. Okay. Is there more to this?
Yeah, Bridget is like, so what of the children? And he's like, oh yeah, no, your daughter.
I owned them in court.
So Bridget wants to go to Odin to start studying that life. So they go to Odin, start running experiments on how to like make a bubble city inside of a gas giant, which they do eventually figure out. They have a few trials and errors, and they finally get their. It's like basically like a giant mansion inside of a bubble that they called Rivendell. And one of the manta ray monster things tries to have relations with their bubble. And then Howie invites them to his wedding, Ben.
Because the bubble creatures.
No, Howie is the son, and the youngest daughter is going to be there. They're willing to make up with quote unquote mom, as well as also Bob, I guess, and because they got in touch with some of Bob's real relatives, like his great nieces or whatever. Rosie, on the other hand, has cut all of them off and is planning on moving to an entire other planet. So Bridget's going to work on mending the relationship with her other 2 kids. And then in the end, they're like, you ever think about adopting? And they just leave that question hanging in the air.
Who ever think about adopting?
The 2 of them.
I need, dude.
The androids.
Names.
Bridget and Bob. Howard Bob.
Who asks who?
I don't remember. I think maybe she asked him, and he's like, no, and she's like, well, you don't have to answer now, but like, think about it. We have all these resources. We're like godlike beings. Have you ever thought about adopting?
This is
the look on your face.
And this is all like good. Like
Yeah. Yeah, they're going to start a family together. Haven't you ever wanted Bob to start a family, Ben? I think that was the one thing that was really missing from these stories is Bob's family.
I mean, I think he had one. He just didn't like them.
Hey, he liked his sister, who he talks about
No, I mean, he
sometimes.
married a woman with 3 children. He just didn't
Oh, well, I mean, like, you know,
like them.
one of them maybe, you know, it's complicated,
Not really.
Ben.
Not as n- not as complicated as you're making it. Okay. I
That's the end, by the way, of
good.
that plot line.
Good. I think I good. I'm seeing it now.
Good, good,
I'm seeing
good.
it now. I'm getting. Part of me feels vindicated because I'm like, something about this is just weird, right?
Yeah, yeah. I was a little worried in the second book, and then I was like, oh, she doesn't want to clone her brain. We're fine. And then in this book, they're just dating, and I'm like, ooh.
Like I was thinking, when you told me about the first book, like, okay, maybe this is just some kind of like guy who, I don't want to use this as shorthand, but like I was thinking like maybe Bob is a different kind of person. Maybe he's just not romantically inclined. Maybe he doesn't really have a lot of social needs.
I'd be okay with this. This
And
would be
maybe,
fine.
yeah, maybe he just really likes problem solving and civilization building. And so he's just a uniquely equipped guy to take on this challenge of like fostering human civilization forward. And that's cool. But now the weird sex stuff is coming in. And I I was like, yep, there it is. There it is. Yeah, because
There
I
it
see
is.
that's what I was worried about. Yeah. See, that's what it's weird to want to put your brain in a machine and become God. It's always weird, and that's a red flag. Um,
All right, you said you knew what
yeah, I know
what's
Phineas and Ferb.
okay.
I want to
Well,
know how
this
this relates to Phineas and Ferb.
not very much. That's just the name of these particular Bobs.
Okay, we'll see.
So let's see. Where is? Oh yeah, I didn't even really write this one down because it's interlocked. So the Pav, Ben, they were harvested by the others, the antagonists, the insect hive mind of the last book. Bob failed to save them, and in the end was only able to get like 20,000 of them aboard a ship, get as many like which he kidnapped them. I mean, he straight up kidnaps 20,000 people, but he gets as many like plant and animal samples from their planet as possible.
Are these humans or aliens?
They're aliens,
Okay.
and he picks out some of their like leaders. Oh yeah, they're all there's no monogamy. They're all in polycules, Ben.
There it is. There it
Polycule.
is. Now it's getting. Yep. Now he's starting to focus on stuff.
So they find a new planet. They talk to the elders and they're like, "Hey, your entire civilization is about to end. That sucks, dog. We're here to put you on a different planet. Okay, cool. Here's also pictures if you want to see of what the others did. Your planet looks kind of like brown and dead from space right now. They took everything. Anyway, here's a new planet, and then they're gonna plan on unthawing all 20,000 people on this new planet, and they're like, "Okay, cool." That's actually that's it. That's the whole plot line with them.
Oh, okay.
Phineas and Ferb are the name of the Bobs,
Why does it take two Bobs?
because they keep cloning themselves. I think they needed two Bobs to fly both the transports in this case.
Okay.
A lot of Bobs are just used as interstellar bus drivers, and a lot of the later generation Bobs are kind of upset about that. They're like, immortality kind of sucks if you're just gonna make me transport groups of people from point A to point B
Well, how
with
can anyone make you do
hundreds of
anything?
years.
Just
they
stop.
they've agreed to do it, but they
Should
are
shouldn't have
like,
done that.
yeah, they are kind of like, I think we're done. After I do this, I'm out.
So Bob couldn't crack self-driving vehicles either.
No. No. Every single vehicle they have is either a short range vehicle that they can control remotely, or it's a Bob. They don't have a long range
And Bob can't just
self.
hire an actual bus driver.
No,
Why?
because that's not how these are built. And also, no.
Can't scan a bus driver.
No.
Can't find a guy
I
whose
don't
like
I don't
purpose in
want I
life
don't
is
want you
to
to.
bus drive.
No.
It's like, hey, I'm a god. I'm building a pantheon. Who wants to be Charon? You know?
That would be a way to sell it.
Yeah,
That might actually work.
yeah. No, put me in.
Yeah, fuck yeah, let's do it. They have to give me coins though. I'm not doing this for free. If I'm Charon, they're paying me or they're getting the
You,
fuck off my boat.
it's your prerogative, man. You have total control over the bus. That is your domain. Okay, you can make whatever weird rules you want. It just has to be like broadly achievable by all people.
Hell yeah. Yeah, I'd do that. All right. What plot line you want next, Ben?
Oh, golly gee. Okay. I'm really looking for like what could be problematic. Um, hmm. Delton Sky God Bob.
Okay. So this is the original, well, the most original Bob left. This is the guy who flew out all those centuries ago, cloned all these other guys who then cloned themselves. He is the oldest generation of Bob. He is the one who still goes by Bob, in fact. Now, you might have remembered earlier that he found intelligent life and was like, hell yeah, I'm in. And he named the smartest one, who was making like Stone Age tools, Archimedes, because of course he did.
Okay.
And then he decided to become their sky god. Well, he just kind of happened into it. He had them all migrate to some cities, some not cities, but some old shelters that were like abandoned. He's like, I don't know why the fuck they're abandoned. That's weird. But we're gonna get you guys some tools. I'm gonna help you fight the gorilloids, who are hunting you to extinction. You can't stay here because you're gonna go extinct. So we're gonna go back there. That was the first book. Second book, turns out the Deltans left or were extinguished from this area of the continent because there are gigantic flying invisible pterodactyls.
Oh, that is a challenge.
So Bob decided to bomb them from orbit.
The invisible pterodactyls?
Yeah, he figured out where their nest was. It was like an island just off the coast, and he fucking destroys that from orbit. He
Oh
basically
man.
unleashed a nuclear bomb
Does he
in
ever
the
talk to
Stone
Riker?
Age.
Does he ever talk to Riker Bob about the Prime Directive?
They don't have a prime directive. It's super weird.
Maybe they should.
Maybe they should have, yeah, but then he couldn't save these people from possibly being extinct, Ben.
To be fair, all they do in Star Trek is constantly violate the Prime Directive
Yes,
anyway. So
they all the time.
yeah.
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 So after he bombs these people out of existence, or sorry, these animals out of existence, the Deltans are like, Bob, we no longer want you around as our god. Please leave. and and so he says that
they're afraid of him.
yes. I didn't buy that. I never understood that. if you're afraid of your God, you're not going to be like, God, I need you to leave. God will smite your ass. What are you talking about?
Yeah.
No one saw the Tower of Babel and went, God, we would appreciate if you would just kind of leave.
You know, you'd have to, again, you gotta pitch these things like, you'd be like, God, you're just so, like, when you walk among us, it's just, we're so overcome with reverence, we can't get anything done. So, like, I think you should, you know, go found a heaven somewhere.
Yeah, really, Bob should have thought about this. Should have been his choice. He should have been like, "Ooh, yeah, I'm fucking up left and right. Maybe I should leave." But he doesn't do
Bob
that.
doesn't seem to think he fucks up.
Yeah, no, what he does is he leaves, but not really. He just gets better at hiding where his drones are until they invent android bodies, and then he makes a Deltan android body, and he goes to Archimedes, and Archimedes is like, okay, here are the things you need to, like, no one is going, you smell like ash and metal, and you look symmetrical, and that's weird. Our fur patterns are not symmetrical. Here are the things you need to do, because everyone, otherwise everyone is gonna look like you're someone who like has a cutout human face over their face, and you're just walking downtown in a human city. Like that's kind of the vibe I got with that. So yeah, you gotta fix that. So he comes back as a Delton, and he does blend in. And then his bro Archimedes' bitch wife, who was getting between him and Bob, she passed away, and so now they can be bros.
I'm, are you noticing a theme?
You pointed out last time, yeah.
Yeah.
You're like, wait, she also died? What the fuck?
Are you noticing a theme of Bob wants in on somebody else's life, and then he just separates them from their families and scans them into his cult and takes them elsewhere?
Well, he doesn't do that in this case. She just conveniently dies, so now he can
Yeah.
be bros with Archimedes. He's part of that family unit. So yeah,
Are they going to wind up suing him too?
they don't have that sort of structure in place.
Okay.
Anyway, their society splits in half. They've got Camelot, because of course they do, and then they got Carillon, and they split into two cities. Now, I want you to be aware that he never taught them agriculture, and he never taught them how to domesticate livestock. So it's weird that they have cities. I know they're probably not like big cities, but like it sounds like they're more than just like tribal encampments. These are permanent residents, and they're hunters and gatherers.
Yeah, you're going to hunt and gather everything pretty quick.
Yeah, especially because they have tools and are now pretty much at the top of the food chain after their god bombed another species into extinction from orbit. Anyway, uh, so this starts off in book 3 with another Deltan tribe from Carillon is threatening Bob and his hunting party. The lead member's name is Fred, and Bob is wondering, like, what changed? Why are they coming after us like this? This is weird. Uh, so he punches Fred in the solar plexus, and he goes down like a sack of shit. Then, the next time we see Bob, his hunting party realizes they're being shadowed by Fred and a gang of people. And they stop this ambush, and he punches Fred in the solar plexus, and he goes down like a sack of shit.
Okay.
So then he's like, okay, I need to figure out what's going on. I'm going to sneak into Carillon. I'm going to figure out why they're behaving this way. But while he's thinking about how he's going to do that, he's scouting around. He sees Fred and 4 other Deltans coming after him. He has drones that are seeing, so he's kind of cheating. He can see things that.
Oh, Bob's cheating.
Yeah,
Wow.
he's cheating. I know, it's crazy.
Yeah.
So he cheats further because he's like, okay, I can't reveal the fact that I have like superhuman strength and just punch through them. So instead, he turns off his scent. So they can't find him anymore. He blends into the trees. They can't smell him. They're really pissed off that they lost him. He does not punch Fred in the solar plexus.
Quite a
Um,
showing restraint.
but then next time later in the book, much later, he does slip into Carillon, and he finds Fred in town, and he threatens Fred. Uh, he's like, you come after us again, I'm gonna fucking kill you. Hey, maybe I'll just do it right now. But he can't bring himself to kill him, Ben.
Okay.
But he's trying to disarm him with threats, and he calls Fred lazy, and that sets Fred off. He's like, yeah, it's really easy for you to call me lazy when you have all the best shit. Fuck you. And then some
Super
of
easy.
his
Solar plexus.
he did, yes, Ben, actually. A rule of threes. So his hunting band is coming in. He's like, you either have to kill me or you have to let me go. What's it gonna be, bitch? And so Bob's like, I can't kill him. I can't kill him. So he punches him in the solar plexus and steals his spear.
Yep.
And he brings the spear
Now
back.
you don't even have the worst stuff.
He brings the spear back, and Archimedes is like, oh, this spear sucks. This is terrible. This is what they have over there? That's probably why they're so pissed off at us. We have all the best shit, and they don't even know how to make spears. This is bad.
Well, how is that their problem?
Because they must perceive some sort of inequality, and so
Well,
they're like,
one of them does have the god living with them, so
well, they also have Archimedes. So the next time, snap cut to a later chapter where they tried to. Archimedes is on the ground. He's got busted ribs. Fred is killed outright. I assume he was punched in the solar plexus first, but the book does not tell me that. And they chase away the rest of the hunting party. What had happened is they had tried to get Archimedes and kidnap him and force him to make spears and other tools.
okay.
So Carillon is so fucked that the gorilloids are even starting to encroach upon their territory. And so they're like, let's send out a peaceful envoy to them, have them send some of their best over to us, and Archimedes will train them. And they're like, well, I don't know if they're going to want to do that. And they're like, well, they really got no other choice. And so they do that. Meanwhile, the Bobs put a Space Odyssey like obelisk on the moon of this system, full of all kinds of info and chronicles and stuff. I don't know why they did that.
Just because it's funny.
Yeah, we're fucking with you.
Yeah.
You know what? I'll give Bob that. I would probably get bored at some point and be like, you know what? Obelisk on your moon.
That's a harmless. I mean, it's probably not harmless, depending on who finds it or whatever. But like, that's a much less. That's a much less uncomfortable thing than just like joining families and spouses mysteriously dying.
Yeah, I mean, I'm glad they just mysteriously died. Bob had nothing to do with it, Ben.
No.
So
I also like that Bob needed to bring the spear to Archimedes to realize that the spear wasn't as good.
yeah, what
Bob,
does he know about spear making, Ben? He's God.
I figure I have an untrained eye for this sort of thing. I feel like I could tell you if one spear is just crap.
It's just a stick with a rock on the end. What the hell is this?
Yeah, like if one guy has like a full-fledged like bronze spear and the other guy has like a marginally like they didn't even really chip the stone into a point. It's just kind of a jagged rock shaped attached to it. Yeah. I'll notice.
So Archimedes never stops coughing for the rest of his days. He never really recovers from that ass beating he got. But the two Trowns, they make up, they start trading, they're on good terms. I don't know what you trade in a pre-agrarian society. Probably just meat and tools and stuff, but all right.
They make pogs out of bone.
There you go.
They carve faces on them.
So the technology is advancing, even though they still don't have livestock, and he's realizing that Archimedes lived a lot longer than any other Deltan. But that's coming to an end soon. He realizes Archimedes is dying, and Bob isn't sure if he's gonna make like a new android body and come back, or if he's just gonna like fade away after this. Because Archimedes, that was his bro. That was the guy he'd been with for I think 2 decades now.
I mean,
That
didn't
was
they
his ride
ask
or
you to
die, Ben.
leave?
The Archimedes did not ask him to leave. That
Yeah,
was
but
like
didn't
the
everybody else
yeah. Well,
leave?
yeah. He's thinking about it.
Okay.
The time finally comes. Archimedes passes away. There's a huge funeral. He puts one of his drones secretly in Archimedes' grave. He wanted a little piece to go with Archimedes.
Oh,
Hopefully, no one ever robs that grave.
did Archimedes also not want to be scanned?
He never even offered to scan.
Wow.
Yeah.
It's the real difference between like the pet and the lover, huh?
Jesus. So Archimedes' son Buster is like, okay, be real with me. Are you Bob? You're Bob, right? And he's like, I am. Goodbye. He leaves. He disappears, Ben. That is the end. Sky God Bob.
All right. Well, I guess I gotta go with and by the way, this sounds like a blues artist. Soul Bob Riker.
Soul Bob Riker.
That would be an amazing blues artist.
So as we talked about it, rule of threes. Howard was conflicted about the mortality of man when his hot wife died.
Oh, have I accidentally hit on all of them?
And yep, this is it. And
nice.
Bob was conflicted about the mortality of Deltan man when his bro Archimedes died. Finally, Riker. He visits his distant family member. He was talking to this little girl since she was like 3 or 4, I think, and now she is an elderly grandma. She collapsed. She had an aneurysm. She died, and she looks a lot like Bob's sister, and that makes him feel a sort of way, and it really hits him, Ben. These people, they don't live forever.
How old is this Bob?
They are at least a century old at this point.
Okay.
I'm pretty sure. Somewhere in there. Decades to a century. So then he has to go back to dealing with the problem on Earth. Problem is, they don't have enough large concentrations of metal to build more large colony ships and get everyone off of Earth.
Okay.
With their current capacity, it will take 500 years to get everyone off of Earth, and the Earth doesn't have 500 years. Earth has maybe 50 if we really stretch it.
So, wait. We could go all around the solar system building all kinds, like all around the galaxy building all kinds of cities.
Yep, the problem is we don't have enough trucks, though, Ben. We don't have enough trains or boats.
And we just need to build more.
And they're building as hard as they can, Ben.
You're telling me in the solar system there's not enough metal. I think I had this problem last time, didn't I?
Well, they didn't have it. They either need to spend more of that metal building more printers, and then the printers building the printers will be out of commission, or they try and build more ships using the printers they already have, but they won't have enough capacity to build enough ships. and they still need to feed more material into it. And they can go get more material, but that means using one of their colony ships to go out there to get more material and ship it back here.
Isn't there like a consortium of Bobs? Can't they just call in?
Ben, one of these Bobs is hanging out with a Delton, and another one is trying to have sex with a dead woman. Okay?
Okay, that just leaves like what 1,000 more Bobs. Half of them are just driving buses. Bring the buses over here.
Well, those are the buses that are shipping people off of Earth.
Oh,
Yeah. So they're
okay.
already doing their part. And he's like, well, maybe we can build stasis pods. But that's a no-go because, there's no one wants to get into a stasis pod, and maybe they'll wake up later, or maybe they won't.
I'll get in.
So they have
Hey,
this problem for a lot of the book.
hey, Earth is only on its way to being destroyed right now. I mean, you're telling me right now in America, 2026, you give Americans the option of like, we'll put $1,000 in a compound interest savings account in your name, and you get in the stasis pod. Maybe you wake up, maybe you don't. But if you wake up, you're gonna be rich. I think you could get more than half the country in those pods.
Hey, maybe that's how we fix any sort of overpopulation, which isn't our main issue. But then they just turn out to be the blender pods for Mass Effect 2. We just blend them into a smoothie.
I don't know. This has nothing to do with anything. But you ever watch The Boys?
Yeah.
Apparently, in the last episode of The Boys, there's a guy that looks exactly like Elon Musk in his dark MAGA hat, who's a billionaire, and Homelander has to like listen to him talk for a while, and then Homelander like walks outside with him, like sort of in the background, and just flies up to space and then drops right back down. And they're like, "Where'd he go?" Homelander's like, "Oh, he was an astronaut. Took him to space." And Elon Musk was not happy about that.
I would love for Elon Musk to go into space. You know what? Have all of Mars. Have at it.
Okay, but so he's trying to solve this population crisis.
Yeah. And then, much, much later in the book, a completely different Bob named Herschel, and there's another one. They are rummaging around the battlefield that they had with the others. And they find a mostly intact cargo ship that is fucking gigantic. And they spend a lot of time like powering it up safely and making sure there's no booby traps or drones or anything. And anyway, this thing is fucking huge, and it basically solves all their transportation problems. They just need to fix this ship up, power it, and send it out. And they also get some experimental new energy drive out of it.
Nice.
So yeah, then we'll get to most of what Riker does in the battle with the others, but one of the other things he does is he goes to that old woman who died, his great 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 niece. Well, she had a son, Ben. He's celebrating his 75th birthday. He shows up there because he's invited, and Justin's like, "Oh, I haven't seen you in forever. Are you avoiding me?" And he's like, "Yeah, I actually am. Too close to this family. This family is finite. I think this will probably be the last time we meet. Congratulations on 75. I love you, Justin. I'm gonna just kind of like fade out. I think when I'm done with this whole others thing and we get people off of Earth, I'm bouncing. I'm done." So that's how he thinks about that's how he handles the problem, Ben. The attachment.
I think I understand that more. That seems reasonable to me.
He also starts going by William, which I thought was an improvement. he kind of drops the Riker. He stops
Well,
showing up in VR as Riker.
wasn't Riker's first name William?
Yeah, that's why he does it.
Okay.
But I think that's an improvement. Just the same, Ben.
It's a little less cringy. I guess this Bob's a little less cringy.
So that's the end of him outside of the battle with the others. He's going to be on the front line for that. But
Okay.
we solved the Earth problem.
Well, I mean, you kind of Deus Ex Machina it, but
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah, that's how we
All right.
solved it.
Okay. Um, what's another short one?
Um, well, Bender is basically a non-story. You want to hear that one?
Okay.
All right. So in book 1, Bender is one of the original first generation Bob after Bob. So he was the second gen of surviving Bobs. He goes off, he's flying, he sees some like weird, like he detects something. It wasn't radio waves, but he detects something, he flies towards it, sees some lights. That's the end of him. We don't hear from him in the second book. And we also don't hear from him in the third book. Ben, he's not here. That's the storyline. He's still not here. But someone mentions, like, hey, whatever happened to him? We should go find him.
Okay. Well, keep me posted. What about people who are actually in the book?
Let's see. Terraforming Bob doesn't do much.
Okay.
You want to do Terraforming Bob?
All right. You put these on here. You didn't have
No,
to.
I did. No, I do, Ben.
You can skip the things that don't matter.
So this is like, well, Bender is super important for the fourth book, which I don't plan on reading, by the way.
So are we saving like the big final fight for part 2?
Yeah, do you want to?
Yeah, but okay, so what else is there that's not part of the final fight?
All right. So that would be Poseidon Bob and the new colony. We already kind of touched on that, but we could touch on. Okay, so we can do Poseidon Bob, then we do the new colony, and that's where we can end it for today.
Sounds good.
So Poseidon Bob, Marcus, yeah. So they they found a planet just all water. Um, and there were mats of like really thick seaweed that it worked as well as land. Like people could actually stand
I
on it,
actually
and
remember this one. Yeah.
yeah, they had
Yeah.
kraken,
Yeah.
and they solved their kraken problem. I don't know how, but they did. They're never really brought up again. So
I remember thinking they weren't much of a problem in the first place.
they really weren't. So he's like, huh, I never thought that the Pacific Islanders would want to create a totalitarian state. But it seems like that's where we're heading.
It's a weird thing to think. Okay.
He's talking with his friends whose names I don't have written down. I think one of them is Gina. They're not super important and they don't have a lot of personality. So the Council of Poseidon, they're reneging on their deal to have free and fair elections, Ben. They signed that deal with Riker as a condition of being transported here to this colony, and now they're not going to do it.
How do people think they're going to fight Bob?
Yeah, that is kind of what my thought was too. Like, okay, you reneged on our deal. Boom. All right. Next council, you gonna have free and fair elections?
Yeah, I mean, I'm guessing that it's not that simple.
Well, we'll see, Ben. We'll see.
Okay.
So the council had a vote, and they voted that law doesn't apply to them, so they don't have to have free and fair elections. And Bob is like, he's given a lot of his factories and other production to the council because he wants to like make them self-reliant so he can bounce. So I'm going to cut to the chase because there are so many chapters where he just keeps thinking they're not going to have a violent revolution. They're not going to attack us. I don't think they're going to try and do violence. And it's like, why do you think that, Bob? Why wouldn't they?
Well, I
So
wouldn't.
so he thinks that they bugged his. He finds out that they bugged his house, Ben,
He has a house.
because he's an android. He's trying to live amongst the people, Ben.
This
So
Android thing really opened up a lot of avenues for him, didn't it?
it did. So he's like, okay, I am going to make flying cities. I figured out how to make it work. It'll be great. It will expand your landmass. You can decide to live in the cities or not. And the council rejects him. And he's like, okay, but I'm going to do it anyway. And so he does it anyway. And that angers the council.
Who
And then
cares?
and then they don't do anything to stop him. And he's like, okay, that was easy. So a lot of people have been chafing under the council's rule, and they're eager to just move wherever they want. And hey, free land, hell yeah. So, but the reason that they have been slow to respond in any way is because within a few months after Bob launches a few of these, Marcus Bob, whatever, the council has consolidated all of the Lagrange points full of raw materials. They take over all the food stores they can get their hands on. They're basically trying to control the populace. And Bob is like, well, whoops, I probably should have been doing literally anything. Probably should have kept tabs on them. I'm a giant eyeball in the sky. This is kind of embarrassing, actually.
Yeah.
So he makes a after like a million conversations with his fellow revolutionaries who want Bob to like, hey, get off your ass. You can win this fight in an afternoon. Uh, Bob at least decides to like instead of posting where he is at all times. I don't know why he does that anyway. He posted where a decoy of him was at all times, and the council blows him up. And he's like, "Oh my god, I can't believe they would blow up what they thought was me." Also, they're reading his blogs on BobNet, Ben.
What is he blogging about on BobNet?
Everything. Here's the latest scientific whatever. Here's this. Here's that. Here's my violent revolution that I'm going to have to do. So, anyway, eventually the council decides they're going to launch, they're going to try and blow up a flying city. And Bob is like, okay, I should do something. So he stops that and then immediately wins almost without a fight. He gets 5 of the 7 council members rounded up. They're going to do hard labor in a fish plant, Ben. The other 2 are probably on a submarine somewhere. Maybe they'll come up later. I don't know. And everyone can live on wherever they want, Ben. And he becomes the chair. And he's like, I want to set up elections right away because I want to stop being in charge. I hate having to govern you people. And so he does. Gina, his friend, actually becomes the new president. She hates it as well.
Shocking. Bob's friend became president.
I know, right? So everyone has basically moved to the flying cities. Mostly the mats are mostly just used for industry. They've got grass and housing and white picket fence. I don't know. Bob is like, this is a utopia. But he looks down. His friend is like, what's wrong, Bob? And he's like, I'm bored. Maybe I should become a dolphin. The end.
Okay. I mean, I guess that's supposed to be funny, right?
No, he is going to make a dolphin robot, and I think
No,
his
but I mean,
brain...
I think that's supposed to be funny, right? That he's going to be a dolphin.
Maybe? Maybe.
So, I know we'll talk more about this because we're not going to be doing a rubric in this episode because we got to wait till the next. But I kind of want to get your general impression in this one of why, what has made you feel like you don't want to continue.
Yeah, that's fair.
Are you going to tell me?
No, we'll do it next episode.
You're going to cram all that into next episode? Because you still
Well,
have like 50, like you have 10 minutes you could work with.
there's only like two more major storylines after this, so probably do that rubric. Tell you about the why I'm not going to continue and final thoughts.
Okay.
So we'll end it with the new colony plot line. It's the perfect way to end it
All right.
because it's on a cliffhanger, Ben. So
I feel like they all are.
well, yeah, well, kind of. Some of them at least wrapped up. Like Sky God Bob actually did have an ending this time. It's weird because it really feels like between the first and second book, they're like, huh, I wonder what's going on. Why did the Deltons leave here? The end of the book, and then the next book picks up with like just right off of that. I wonder if he just cut and he wrote all that out and he just found he found a place where he's like, that's a good enough place to cut.
Yeah. That's strange.
So they find a bunch of new planets full of all kinds of weird life, Ben. And they're going to start relocating Earth colonists here. And they've started naming them after. One of them's Odin. I think that's the only Norse name that sticks. That's the one that Howard builds a bubble in with his hot Irish wife. So other planets are, you know how they thought Venus was like a jungle that always rained, like in Ray Bradbury's thing. They found something that looks exactly like that, but with heavier gravity and also super mosquitoes. Those come up a lot. At least two other planets. Sorry, at least three total planets. Rule 3 have super mosquitoes.
Okay.
They found the gas giant, and then they found there's a planet that smells so god awful that the colonists on that planet, are thinking of using nukes to annihilate the local plant life because they can't handle the garbage smell. And as they're discussing this, the Bob in charge, Mac, is suddenly cut off by being shot with a cannonball with a nuke. Turns out the Brazilian guy, Medeiros, is back, Ben.
Oh, no.
And that's what we'll pick up next time.
Okay. You
sudden ending.
You chose to end it there. Yeah. Okay.
That's a sudden ending. Yep.
Okay. So I guess join us next time for not how many Bob books are there? Are they still going?
There are 5, and I think there's a 6th coming out.
Yeah. So
but this is a very clear trilogy because spoilers, this is the final battle with the others.
Okay. So join us for probably the last Words About Books episode about the Bobiverse.
Yeah.
Because nobody is demanding this.
Yeah, nobody has demanded it, but I went and read the second book, so I had to finish the trilogy.
Yeah, I was going to say, a lot of people are interested in more Beware of Chicken. A lot of people are interested in that old DCC dungeon crawler.
They never. Yeah, okay, I'm going to ignore her. So they never paid a substantial amount of money for chatting about chicken, Ben. So the dream is dead.
Yeah. All right. Do you want to do the shout-outs or do you want to do them in post?
Now let's go ahead and do the shout-outs, Ben.
All right.
So we've got...
Interrupt me or... Yeah.
Jacob Lansky doing whatever the fuck he wants, fucker.
You really the swear jar really got to you.
Really hitting that F-bomb like Bob's fucking my wife.
Okay. Yeah, with that out of the way, John Bierce, actual author of The Rack That Made Jarrett More Gods Than Stars, book 2 of More Gods Than Stars, is serializing now on his Patreon. You should check it out.
Jamie the Gravy Man from If You Want the Gravy.wordpress.com. So, when Bobiverse becomes a film, question mark, you need to watch it and tell me how it is. I'm not, but that's what you're here for.
Yep. And let's see, Isekai Sensei Sama of That Time I Got Reincarnated in the Same World is an anime podcast. I already know the Bobiverse is an isekai.
Yeah, absolutely.
It feels very much like
he
an isekai.
Actually, I think, does get hit by a bus and dies, and then he wakes up as a brain in jar.
Yeah. So
Shy with a Y. I'm taking this one because I know she's listening. She can't hear it if I'm the one saying it.
Right. Fair enough. All right. Well, then we'll see you next time.
Bye. Yeah, I'm seeing Peter Klein's behind you.
Yeah, that book is worth $40 now.
Oh my god.
Yeah. I think I'm thinking about selling it.
Yeah,
I was pricing out all my books, and I noticed as I was scanning thrift books, usually, we're all book people here. I mean, I'll tell you about selling books. So thrift books usually really cheaps out on you, but the advantage is they pay for the shipping, and then they just pay you. You don't have to worry about selling it. So I'm scanning my books, and I'm used to getting like $1 here, $2 there, maybe less. Scanned the 14 by Peter Klein's, and it came back $16. And I was like, I gotta take a look at that. If Thrift Books is giving me $16, what is this thing worth? And I saw it going on eBay for like between $40 and $60. Apparently, it's out of print, and there's still a fairly significant demand for it. You can still get it on
his best book by a wide margin.
Yeah, you can still get it on Kindle and stuff, but this is, and I actually have I think I actually have I don't know if this particularly matters. I think people are actually buying these to read them, not collect them. But yeah, mine's from 2012. So I don't know if this is like it's a first or second edition, gently used. So yeah, that's the reason that was behind me.